Hello, welcome. My name is James Waterman. I am a bartender over 30 years. But here's a good way to get started. Going out on the floor or you're training a waiter or waitress, you want to know positions of the table. So wherever your reference point is where you go to a table, the person to your immediate left is position 1, position 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. That's standard, okay? Now, when you place the cocktails on your tray, here's what you do. Now that you know the positioning on the table, you can reference it to how you're going to put it on your tray, or your server if you want to train him or her how to do that, so they don't have to memorize and come to the table and, as we say, auction it off. Who had the bud? Who had the vodka tonic? It's unprofessional. Here's your tray. When you build your drinks, put them on the tray in the same position. Your immediate left is position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever. Maybe only 3 drinks, maybe 7. Slide it off. After you put your drinks on there, slide it off, carry it. And let's say you want to serve the women first, and position 3 is the first woman. So you know it's the 3rd drink going clockwise. There you go, madame. And then at position 5, the 5th drink over, then you can serve the men, position 1, 2, and 6. You don't have to memorize anything, it's already done. It's a no-brainer. So that's another thing in the lost art of serving and bartending, some memorization techniques to make your job easier. Set up the bar, ready to go to work. We're going to go over priority, what you need first, how to cut fruit, to be prepared, how to leave the bar, wine service, how to open and present bottles of wine, how to pour beer, and of course cocktail preparation, how to shake and how to stir. We'll go over some of the basic old school cocktail drives, a good start, some good basics. Alright, when you set up your bar, let's say you come in the morning, you got to think and prioritize what you need. First thing you need is ice. If someone sits at the bar and you have money to make change and you have your fruit cut, but you don't have ice, you can't make them a drink. So first thing you need ice. So get your ice, load her up, fire in the hole. Okay, you got your ice. Now you can build cocktails. And if you have people at your bar, you get them a cocktail, and don't worry about cutting fruit for the day and night shift right now. You made them a drink. Don't even worry about the money right now. You can count your bank in a minute because you can run a tab on them. Chances are they're not going to be leaving right now. They just sat down. So first thing, get your ice, and you can move on to counting your bank and make sure it's $250 or $300 what they would give you. Because they're not, hopefully, going to be here for 2-3 hours visiting with you. Your clients visiting with you. Okay? All right. Now, this is the jockey box here. This is where we make our drinks. Now, this is normally called the speed rack. And then, oftentimes, on this side, there are 3 booths where you put bottles, or 6 booths on each side. Now, in this particular bar, we don't have that, and our well happens to be a higher-end well. The well is called Liquors. We have a higher-end well. But how I set it up is vodka, gin, rum, tequila, triple sec, then tequila. So I have all your iced teas here, all the iced tea mix here. Vodka, gin, rum, triple sec. But I have tequila right here so you can make margaritas, triple sec and tequila. A bourbon and a scotch. I don't even have brandy in the well or speed rack. It's not used as much nowadays, so I don't even have it in there. And you could set it up differently, different places, depending on the needs in your speed rack. And sometimes they're double speed racks. you might have all your stuff that you're moving a lot of, your flavored rums, your flavored vodkas, all right here, and it's a nice setup. But work to the house, and also be unique if you have the flexibility. I knew a guy that he was a flair bartender, very good. He was trained at the Voodoo Lounge, the Rio Hotel. And in this boot right here, he put in limes. Because he used so many limes in his drinks, he had this boot filled with limes. And he had it set up differently and uniquely, and it worked for him. Vodka is your number one seller. At the first bottle you pick up is vodka. And now some people use rum and gin. I'm old school. I use vodka, gin, rum. But work to the house. Now, I worked a place where I gave the bartenders, everyone set their well up differently. I wanted to have that freedom so they could work the best they could to their natural, what they're used to. But I'll tell you what, kind of bit me in the ass, because if a bartender was on a break for a minute and you had to cross over and use their well, you're lost sometimes, you know. So now I'm a firm believer that keep the bottles and all the wells consistent. Have them the same way in each well. That way if you cross over and for some reason you're working his well and she's working yours, you know exactly where the bottles are. Your new bartenders coming in, you have different tiers of cocktails. You have your well drink, that's your generic drinks. If someone orders a vodka tonic, that's just your generic vodka, whatever he's using in the well. Then if they call their brand, that's what a call drink is. They call their brand. If someone wants a vodka tonic, you say, any preference in your vodka? They say, yeah, let me have Stolichnaya, or Absolute, or Grey Goose, or Kettle One, or Sky, or any. They're calling their brand. So that's the difference between a well and a call. A premium, of course, your higher tiered, more money, better quality liquors. Your speed rack, which is not your well, your speed rack is your most commonly used call liquors. That way you don't have to, travel down the block to get a bottle. It's right here for you because they're commonly used. And like I said, it's different if you work in a club or a hotel. If you're working a club, you're going to have, more razzmatazz, your favorite flavored vodkas in here. If you're working a hotel or an airport bar, you're going to have more of your call brands, your higher end scotches, gins, vodkas, less of the pink and blue stuff. Just depends where you work. And, you work to the house, get used to it, and as long as you know the basics. The basics are how to make 150, 200 standards, and your regional drinks, and how to pour an ounce, ounce and a quarter, ounce and a half, ounce and 3/4, and find out what the house pours. If the house pours an ounce and a quarter and you're pouring an ounce and 3/4, shame on you, okay? You work to the house, find out the portions. What you want to do next is wipe the bar down. Have it clean, set up for your guests to arrive. They put their elbows on the bar, it is clean. There's two types of bar towels. This is what you call a bar mop. It is linen, and you wet it with some soda water. Always have it folded. And this is what you wipe the bar down with. And you should have them folded, not crumpled up, thrown somewhere. Folded into a rectangle. And sometimes we place them on the bar, on the trough, or behind the bar. But this is called a bar mop. Just remember, you mop it down the bar. The second is this is a bar towel. It's no length, no linen. Usually there's pink stripes in it. And this is for polishing your glassware. So there is a difference between a bar towel and a bar mop. Okay, so when you set up your bar, after you wipe your bar down, you also want beverage napkins throughout the bar. You don't want to walk more than 2 steps and not have a bar towel. If these people leave, you wipe the bar down. And you also want beverage napkins close by, so when your next client arrives, you can grab a bar and set it down, a bar napkin. That means welcome. You should always have a bar napkin. Now there's a little trick to this. You take your bar napkins or bar doilies, the stack, break them up. Now, move your hands opposite directions. And this is called fanning your bar napkins. The hard edge should be facing us, the bartender, not the soft edges. Because they're fluffy, you can't tell if you're grabbing 2 or 3 or 4. The hard edge is facing towards us. That way, if 3 people sit down or 4 people sit down, you see the hard edges, how many you have, 2, 3, 4. This is also a standard in the industry, because if you have logo doilies, logo napkins, the logo will always be facing the client, away from the bartender, and the hard edges will be towards the bartender. So you have them periodically throughout the bar, like I said, within 2 steps. So if someone just leaves, you pick up the dirty glassware, napkins, wipe the bar down with a bar mop. You shouldn't have to travel across the bar to get a bar mop. 2 people, you set down 2 napkins. Hello, how you doing? Welcome. Can I get you a delicious beverage of your choice? So that's how you set up the bar. Some people don't like to fan their napkins. They just have them straight on. That's fine, whatever your preference is. Some people twirl them with their fist or use a glass. Many ways to do it. But the logo is facing the customer. So after you wipe the bar down and put your napkins out, okay, you're pretty much ready to go to work. What's the next thing we got to do for the day? We got to cut fruit if you're a day shift guy. You got to cut fruit, enough fruit to last for the day shift and to get the night shift through his shift. So we're going to go over some cutting technique. Now here's a good way to cut limes. Cut them right down the middle and put a slit perpendicularly. Okay? Now I found if you cut from the inside, not the outside, it cuts much easier. Okay? You can get 8 per lime, or if it's larger lime, 10 per lime. Okay? Nice wedges. The tips usually fall off while you're cutting it. You don't have to even bother about cutting it. And what's nice about putting a slit in is you put it on the drink, okay? In old school bartending, we were taught, after we built the drink, to take the lime, squeeze, cover your hand, squeeze the lime, and drop. But I'll tell you, through observation over the years, here's what I find. People actually dig in, grab the lime, and squeeze it again as if you didn't do the job good enough. So what I do is I slit it, put it on the edge, build the drink, they squeeze it themselves, it's happy, it looks good, it's a fine way to garnish a drink. Now your lemon slices for water, a lot of cocktails, there's a couple ways to do that. I'll cut the tips off, cut it in half, and then not perpendicular, horizontal, cut a slit, and then cut some half wheels. Same thing, you get a nice rim there, okay? If you want to cut some wedges, that's fine. Work to the house. Now, a lot of the clubs, they'll want you to cut them in quarters. From the outside here, they look like this, but you can't rim it, and you're still only getting 8 per line, the same as the wedges, and the wedges look much better. You're still getting the same amount, there's no waste, it's a nice clean wedge. Another classic and lost art is the lemon twist. And I'm not talking about a lemon wedge. If someone wants a Johnny Walker Black Label or Scotch on the rocks with a lemon twist, they don't want a lemon wedge on there, nor do they want a lime on Scotch or bourbon, okay? Here's one way to do lemon twists. Roll it a little bit to loosen it up. Cut the tips off so you can see the white. And some lemons are easier than others, trust me. Okay, take a bar spoon. Cut a slit first, it'll be a little easier. Cut one slit. Take your bar spoon, come around the edge, dig in. Okay, come around the other way, same thing. Okay, boom, voila, there we go. Nice clean lemon peel to cut. And if you work in a restaurant, save these for the chef, bring them to the kitchen. Anything you have left over, lemons, tops of celeries, nothing goes to waste in a restaurant. Okay, now we cut twists. Okay? Now there's actually a way to twist a lemon twist. I'm going to go over that right now. Let's say you got a guy drinking a nice Scotch on the rocks. And he wants a lemon twist, not a lemon wedge. There's a way to do it. You take the lemon twist from the outside, twist and drop. That's all you have to do. You twist right over the drink and drop. If you do rim, which you don't have to do, always rim with the outside of the lemon peel. The inside is very bitter. The reason why you twist and drop right over the drink is because there's an oil that shoots out, so when they drink it, it's a smell. They smell the essence of lemon floating atop the drink. Okay? And I'll demonstrate that. Let's say I light a lighter. Can you help me with this? So if we light a lighter, did you see that flame that came out? That's the oil. The same when you twist over the drink, all that oil floats on top of the drink. That's the art of a lemon twist in the proper way. In the old days, they used to say to break a twist. That's when you actually broke the lemon twist. They knew you twisted it then. Okay? See this drink? Say something about this drink right here. Don't even ask me what time it is, because it's not time for me to have a drink. I'm telling you right now. Okay, now, the lemon twist, you don't use them very often anymore. So to keep them preserved, there's another way to do it. Cut the tips off, and just slice some twist throughout. if you do get a client that wants a perfect Rob Roy, perfect Manhattan, or a press, which I'll take twists, you always have them here, but they'll stay fresher longer by utilizing this way. So you grab your lemon, you peel one off, boom, you got a fresh lemon twist. Okay, this is my garnish tray. Your standards are cherries, olives, lime wedges, lemon wheels, and the other two you might want to do lemon wedges and orange wedges. Whatever the house uses. Sometimes they use more. Sometimes you might work a tropical house. You can have pineapple slices or mango or cheese stuffed olives or jalapeno stuffed olives, whatever. This is your garnish tray. And going over your basic glassware, and then we'll go into building some cocktails. You will normally have rocks, highball, tall. Okay? So first thing when you go work in a new place is ask what the portions are. So let's say normally it's 1 1/4 ounce for a mixed drink and 1 3/4 ounce for up or on the rocks. Up meaning Martini, Manhattan, Rob Roy, probably 1/2 ounce more, okay? So let's say we're doing a rocks drink. Now rocks, say we're doing a vodka rocks. What rocks, or if someone says, let me have a so-and-so over, a vodka over, a scotch over, or on the rocks. That's synonymous. It means the same thing. Your liquor, over ice, undiluted, no mix. Okay? That's it. Now, if someone wants a highball, that is a mixed drink. Usually they're self-descriptive. Scotch and soda. What's in it? Well, scotch and soda. Vodka and tonic. What's in it? Well, vodka and tonic. A screwdriver. Vodka and orange juice. What's in it? Vodka and the mix. Normally those are 1 1/4 ounce is a good drink. 1 ounce is a little light. At least 1 1/4 ounce. A good way, if you go to a new place, one technique is measure out. I'll use something darker so you can get the gist of it. Measure out your 1 1/4 ounce and see where it goes up on the glass. So this is a little less than halfway up. All right. Until you get the use of get used to the pour spouts, because all pour spouts are different. You got shotgun pour spouts that go straight up, boom. A 1 count is 1 1/4 ounce. You have your needle nose pour spouts, a 4 count is 1 1/4 ounce. So saying, well, I poured a 3 count, no, it doesn't matter. You, as a bartender or journeyman bartender, you should be able to pour 1 ounce, 1 1/4 ounce, 1 1/2 ounce, 1 3/4 freehand and no. But like I said, if you're new and you want to get the feel of a different glassware, a different type of pour spout, you can measure it up, see where it goes, and do a visual. Now what I mean by a visual is, let's say you're building a whiskey and Coke. Yeah, you want to use 2 hands, but pour your whiskey first for a while, get the cadence of the pour, and then pour in the mix. Okay? That's one way. It might not take you that long at all. Okay. Now a tall, if someone orders a tall vodka tonic, rum and Coke, whatever, it doesn't mean they're getting more alcohol. It means they're getting more mix. If they want more alcohol, they'll ask for a double. Okay? So if you're pouring, if the portions for the house are 1 1/4 ounce, if you're pouring 1 1/4 ounce in a highball, 1 1/4 ounce for a tall highball. It doesn't matter. The portions are the same and consistent. Okay, voila. If you're shot pouring, some places Casinos, hotels, sometimes they make you do that. It actually will slow you down. Like I said, a good bartender will know how to pour 1 ounce and a quarter. You don't need a shot pour. Keep it on the right side of your glass. Pour it. There you go. If it makes the bosses happy, all right, that's fine. Now, an up drink could mean Martini Manhattans, Rob Roy's, or a brandy snifter or liqueur straight up. If someone orders a martini, and by the way, martini means gin with a little vermouth. Martinis aren't blue or pink. Unless specified, vodka. That's a true martini. Let's go over martinis. You get your martini glass, chill it. Put some ice in there and soda water to chill it. Okay? You get a mixing glass, not a shaker tin. A mixing glass. And let's say someone wants a vodka martini. You pour in your portion of vodka with a long pour. And there's your vermouth, okay? If they want it extra dry, you don't even use vermouth. 1/8 of an ounce of vermouth is fine. Now, we want a Martini Manhattan and Rob Roy is a stirred drink, okay? 20 times. That's a traditional way to make a martini. Your glass is chilled, strain it. Voila. Skewer an olive, and you skewer olives. You don't just drop them, you skewer them. Okay, there's your classic, well, this is a vodka martini, gin, okay. The past, it's fine. They want to shake it, you can have it shaken. So let's say they want, once again, a vodka martini, straight up. Nowadays, you don't even find bar spoons behind the bar in the newer places. Lost art. So you take your shaker tin. The easiest way to shake, put it over there, and there's one straight edge right here. Put your thumb on that straight edge. Take it. Don't worry about it. The coldness will create a vacuum. You're not going to spill anything. It looks a little cramped if you're in front of you like this, going like this. Go ahead. Use a little freedom in your momentum. Okay? Take it apart. If it's a little tough, tap the metal, not the glass. Tap the metal, take it apart. Strain and shake. Another hip and trendy way to do it is after you shake, just cut them like this. That looks pretty. It's a little showmanship. If you're doing 5 or 6, or if you're shaking cocktails or shooters, it's too time consuming to do it that way. You want to use a strainer and get them out quick. Okay? Now, your traditional Martini Manhattan Rob Roy, there's actually a technique, a proper way to stir. And the exercise is if you can do this. It goes around the glass like that. Then you can stir it properly. You want to stir it 20 times. That's the classic way to stir a cocktail. You don't want to just pour it in there and go like that. That's how shoemakers make it. It's no good that way. Do it the right way. Stir it 20 times. If they want to shake it, shake it. But don't just go like that. Along with building the old school classic cocktails, we went over the martini. Now we're going to go over the Manhattan. There are actually 3 kinds of Manhattans. And by the way, if you're busy, don't be afraid. Someone says, can I have a martini? Vodka or gin? Gin. Would you like that on the rocks? If you're busy, it's a lot easier to make it on the rocks. If they know what they want, they'll say, no, as a matter of fact, I want Grey Goose, dirty and straight up. Okay, you know what you want, no problem. If someone thinks they want a martini, vodka or gin, vodka on the rocks, sure. Okay, boom, let's go. So someone orders a, let's do a Manhattan straight up, classic tradition. The Presbyterian, we covered that. Let's go over some vodka cranberry-based juice. There's some drinks that are very similar. And they are vodka, cranberry, and something else. Okay? Now, vodka and cranberry, all cranberry, is a Cape Cod. Okay? Some people like a lime in them, some people don't. Vodka, half cranberry, and half grapefruit juice is a sea breeze. And a memorization technique for that is think of sea, salty, tart, like grapefruit juice is tart, sea breeze. Vodka, cranberry, and pineapple juice is a bay breeze. So you think of bay breeze, you think of a tropical island with a bay and pineapple trees, pineapple bay breeze. A lot of people get these two confused, sea breeze and bay breeze. Vodka, half cranberry and half orange juice is a Madras. And unless you're old enough to remember Madras shirts and Madras belts in the 60s, it has the same color as the Madras tie-dyed shirts, etc. That's where it got its name. So you have the Cape Cod, sea breeze, bay breeze, Madras. Vodka and orange juice is a screwdriver. Vodka grapefruit juice is a greyhound. Think of a dog. If you salt the rim, vodka grapefruit juice with a salted rim is called a salty dog. Okay? There's some of your vodka-based drinks. Traditional method to pour cocktails, when you grab the bottle, keep one finger over the pour spout, that way it won't fall out. If you notice, there's certain bottles that are a little loose. Grey Goose is one of them. There's a few bottles that are a little loose. It's a good idea to keep a finger over. I don't like to see a bartender grab a bottle like this and pour. I could tell how long a guy's been tending bar just by the way he folds his bar mop and by the way he grabs a bottle. So, something to think about. Also, whenever you're mixing a cocktail, always try to use two hands. If you're using one hand, think, what is my other hand doing? Okay? Now, a lot of the guys nowadays are taking a shaker tin. That's fine. And I call them one-ing them to death. They're grabbing one bottle, grabbing another bottle, and they grab another bottle. Look, you're not going to make 7 drinks by then. You want to grab 2 bottles at a time whenever possible. You know, come around, your hands, you're both working. Don't waste time. If you're moving fast and only using one hand, you're not really moving that fast. You're wasting momentum. If you're working alone and someone calls for, in this bar for instance, my gins are down the block here. Someone calls for a Bombay Sapphire. I'm going to walk down here I'm going to grab my Bombay Sapphire, build my cocktail, and leave this bottle hanging here, okay? Because he's bound to have another drink. He or she is bound to order another one. I got it right here. I'm not going to walk down the block. Now, if you're working with another bartender, you put it back. That way he doesn't have to search for the bottle. He knows it's where it should be. If you're working alone, save steps. Keep it here. Keep it hanging next to you. If you have a well set up bar, everything will be right behind you where you work, and in his well, everything will be right behind him where he works. And that's ideal in a perfect world. Okay, that's one way to shortcut it. But when you're working, don't do the 1 and 2 and then walk down the block over here and grab another bottle and do this and then leave the bottle here and come back. Like I said, even if you're running, you're wasting time. Okay? Another habit is, this is your workbench. You make your cocktails here. So if you're building a cocktail, you're building highballs, set them on your workbench. Okay? Build your cocktail right here. Boom. Build them, shake them right here. If you're building a blended drink, put your blender on your workbench. Whatever you're doing, right here, okay? Don't hide your work. Don't put some ice in a blender and then come down here where the blender is and pour the drink down here. No, this is your workbench. So build your drinks on your workbench, right here. Honest work. People see what you're doing, what you're pouring. All right, this is your workbench. Your spill mats, these are called. Good bartender doesn't even need them. We don't spill. Okay? All right, moving on to a layered drink, and there are several.
Here, there's a middle rail. Those are a lot of the more popular ones. And then you'll see right on top here, you see these little nipples on here? We put those on at the end of the night so fruit flies do not get into the bottle. So, and you'll see like this little pour spout has a little cap right on top. Has a little hat. So we can actually flip that one on top and the fruit flies don't get in. So we don't put a nipple on that one, but you'll see all the nipples are on there. Some bars have those, some don't. If not, a lot of times we'll just put saran wrap over the top. You need to make sure we're doing this because fruit flies get in there and ruin the liquor.
Now the first thing we do is present the label to whoever ordered the wine. If it was a woman, you present it to the woman. Whoever ordered it is the host. So you present the label, and they'll acknowledge it, say that's fine. You get your trusty wine key. Voila. That's one of your tools, and you don't want one of those butterfly things. Always cut the foil off. Put it in your pocket, or in this case on the floor, and always put it in your pocket. And as the label's facing them, a no-brainer way to open wine is like this, just so you know. Put the tip of the corkscrew right in the middle of the cork and press down. Okay? From then you could go blind, you can go crooked, it doesn't matter. Twist it. Okay, pull, voila. Take the cork off and just present it to the host. Just lay it there, whether they want to smell it, feel it to see if it's moist, whatever they want to do with it, that's proper presentation. Grab the bottle from the ass end, label up facing whoever you're pouring, and pour a little taste to the host or hostess, whoever ordered the wine. He or she will taste it and acknowledge that it's not vinegar, it's good wine. Keep pouring. Good? Okay, so you want to pour to your guests. Okay? And then when you set the bottle on the table, the label facing them. Now here it gets a little tricky. If you have 2 people, you might want to get a wine bucket or chiller. They might be here a while. Usually white wine is a little too chilled. If you have 3 or more people, I wouldn't even get a wine bucket because the wine's not going to be hanging around that long to get warm. It's going to be gone. Okay? If you have 4 or 5 people and they're only ordering 1 bottle of wine, it gets a little tricky because when you're measuring the pour, you can only go up a certain amount to get 5 or 6 glasses or whatever it is. So that takes a little experience. Now what you do not want to do when you pour the wine is grab their glass, bring it over and pour. Leave the glasses in front of the client, reach over with your bottle, grabbing from the bottom, and pour. Then leave the bottle on the table or in your chiller and let them enjoy. Periodically come back. If their glasses are devoid of libation, replenish the wine. Okay? A good thing to know is how to serve a bottled beer. Unless otherwise specified, especially if it's their first beer, yes, you offer a glass. Unless you're in a neighborhood bar, you know everybody and they don't want a glass, but if you're in a dinner house, yes, you offer a glass. And when you pour the beer, pour half the beer and set it down. That way they will finish it and pour the head that they want to. Don't just set it down. This is the proper way. Pour about half the beer, set it down. Okay? Another thing in proper service is if you're in a place where they do allow smoking, don't allow more than 1 butt to be in the ashtray. Pick it up, empty it. If you just replace their drink and you're using a soiled bar napkin, use that napkin to wipe it down. If you have 2 or 3 butts in the ashtrays, you're not doing your job as a bartender. Part of good, efficient service. Keep it clean, keep it tidy, tight bar. Going out on the floor or you're training a waiter or waitress, you want to know positions of the table. So wherever your reference point is where you go to a table, the person to your immediate left is position 1, position 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. That's standard, okay? Now, when you place the cocktails on your tray, here's what you do. Now that you know the positioning on the table, you can reference it to how you're going to put it on your tray, or your server if you want to train him or her how to do that, so they don't have to memorize and come to the table and, as we say, auction it off. Who had the bud? Who had the vodka tonic? It's unprofessional. Here's your tray. When you build your drinks, put them on the tray in the same position. Your immediate left is position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever. Maybe only 3 drinks, maybe 7. Slide it off. After you put your drinks on there, slide it off, carry it. And let's say you want to serve the women first, and position 3 is the first woman. So you know it's the 3rd drink going clockwise. There you go, madame. And then a position 5, the 5th drink over. Then you can serve the men, position 1, 2, and 6. You don't have to memorize anything. It's already done. It's a no-brainer. So that's another thing in the lost art of serving and bartending, some memorization techniques to make your job easier. Also, if you have a pad and are going to the table with a notepad, don't longhand anything. There are some standard shortcut methods. A vodka tonic, you don't write out vodka tonic. V/T. Gin and tonic. G/T. Rum and Coke. R/C. If you have a call brand, tank on it, maybe TANQT. Tall vodka tonic. Put a T with a circle around it. That means a tall. VT. If you have a lemon twist, make a slash like that. A squiggly, that's a twist. An olive, let's say a vodka rocks. Rocks is X. V/X. That's universal for rocks. Vodka rocks with an olive. Just do a circle with a spear through it. That's your skewered olive. Okay? Always shortcut. Don't longhand anything. And as you're writing on your pad, for instance, if you take position 3's order first, put it about third way down on your pad. Then you take position 1, it's the first one on your pad. Okay? That way when you put it on your tray, you have a reference. Boom, there you go. It's a no-brainer. You deliver it, serve it, you don't have to auction it off. It's fast, it's smooth, efficient, little shortcut. Now, my original intention was to become a master bartender. Well, somewhere along the line over 30 years, I became a master bartender. Through bar management, inventory control system, implementing inventory control systems, setting up bars, hiring, staffing, training, I became a master bartender. It doesn't mean I walk on water. It means that I'm above journeyman. I am an authority. I'm not saying I know everything, but I probably know more than most. One of the gauges, or a few of the gauges, I've realized when I reached the level that I was happy obtaining was when I was featured in magazines, newspaper articles, picture in the OC Weekly, good reputation. I'm happy with what I've done and the success I've built. And I want to pass that along. These are tried and proven methods. I know they work, I've done them, the experience is there. Shortcut your experience, don't go through the mistakes. Not having a mission statement, not having goals, not knowing what type of money you want to earn and how to obtain that money and income. Now, we went over some of the mechanics, bar setup, some of the basics, some of the important things you should know coming in as a bartender. You should know that. You should say, well, we don't serve those here. No, we serve them. Serve anything, you know, they're basics. But if you know the cadence or portions, how to shake, how to stir,